His unbelievable growth to the France chairmanship, the close historic parliament most reached fair a monthly after by his youthful motion, and the reformation of France's hard labor laws were all derided as tube ambition, before he proven how they were no. A dosage of good luck and nice synchronization certainly helping, but so too did his definition and the nearly messianist feeling of mission statement how he seems to give to all he does. Now he wants to give it to Europe. In his New Year's Eve address he said not just the France, but as well his comrade Europe countrymen, how the Europe Association necessary to reopen its vanity in procedure to be a more than independent, more than joint, more democratic association. It is a topic he is potential to lift once again the 1 week in his New Year wishes to the France tactful housing. His schedule is no secret with it was the object of 3 main speeches in 2017 and has already been introduced to the Europe Justice. And it is, as you would wait, anything if not aspiring. The France CEO wants to do off in the Europe of nations to build thing lot nearer to a nationality of Europe. He wants the EU to include its own financial secretary, its own budgeting, its own economical management. He believes it should include its own troop and boundary police force strength. He wants a coordinated tax framework or, politically, a much stronger Europe Parliament in multinational parties and inclusive. In brief, the kind of Fed Europe how has, above the recent few many decades, been a nearly ban object, speak of in hushed sounding in the lobby of Brussels, and surely not named for by the lead of one of Europe's largest strong nations. In procedure to reach how, he wants advice the year in Europe's human beings and its nations, few of whom include speak of their direct opposition to any moves in the direction federalist, exactly since their government's person electorates how include, in the history few year, elect for less than Europe quite rather than more than of it. Amongst them are not fair the East countries, that would be eliminated of the cardiac of the much-tiered association how Macron envisages, but Germany, Holland or, perhaps quickly, Italy, that goes to the polls the year. Jean Monnet, one of the architects and basis fathers of the EU, had forecasted how Europe would be counterfeit in its crisis phenomena. But the latter ones, concentrated on independent obligation and migrants, were unborn exactly of the reality how Europe had not yet counterfeit himself, and seemed thus to endanger the association existentially by strengthening the official position and popular of such who requested it ruined, the really nationalists and skeptics how Macron is inviting on Europeans to oppose. The reply, he believes, is for Europe at recent to reply the issue of which it is, a friable federation of Europe nations or a Fed Europe association. It is the issue how has separated and bedeviled Europe with its create. And before Macron's meteor growth to force, the X had been protected in far more than force rather than the last. Now the last has a defend, readily not just to say up for it, but to share his significant policy equity on the need of its successful. The actual issue is if in 2018, following all how has happened these recent few years, of the obligation meltdown to Brexit, it is too deceased or, on the opposite, exactly the law period. If Macron gets his path, Europe will get a large jump to be lot nearer, in the late, to which its basis fathers had stipulated, but really various of which it has be. Or, as in so lot things in France these days, the sense seems to be how if he can't do it, later it just cannot be made.